to Untitled Anarchist Seagull channel. I'm your host, an Untitled Anarchist Seagull, where we will never play that anti-Semitic wizard game by the transphobe with way too much fucking money. Hello, Adam. I'm doing pretty well, apart from the fact that I've fucked up my ankle comprehensively a little bit earlier. But other than that, quite good. Okay, let's get started. Once I get all my windows where I want them to be. Continue journey. I've gotten a little bit better. I streamed this earlier on the other channel. As you know, the master is about to die thanks to Death's carelessness. Why didn't you stop it? Because I was drunk. Because I was too full, because I was focused on training. Okay, I get 25 plus 25 prestige if I say I was pissed. If I say I was too full, I get a little bit less boredom. I get money, I get gold. Oh, well, I can't do that one, apparently. I get some extra living ink if I say I was too focused on trading. Apparently, it's a popular excuse. Now, okay, good. For some reason, my audio input on OBS has lately been defaulting to system setting and not to my actual Yeti microphone. So I just wanted to check to see what was going on there. Okay, we got the axe-wielding creature. Maybe one more bow wielder. And the exploding head. The exploding head is handy. Okay. I've just been done for heresy because I shot a cat dressed like a bishop. Finally, somebody has agreed with me that Anthony Hopkins sounds like a Beatrice Potter character. That rabbit is called Hopkin that I just stabbed. Oh. And here we go. Here we go. We're gonna another one's gonna get done for heresy. I found some interesting stuff for the roasting tonight. Okay, and that's the bishop sorted. It's like Watership Down or something. And here we go. And this will win me the thing. That's one level up. It's your fault I lost. Well, yes, that's kind of how it works. You lost because I won. Take all. Okay. You see, you have to watch out for the character's boredom, because their boredom increases the amount of ink it takes to draw your little army. Can I boop anyone? No, it does not appear so. Hey, Phoenix, how you doing? Another one of these weird little sling-wielding creatures. Oh, what's wrong? Sorry to hear that. Well, hopefully this delightful medieval weirdness will help brighten your day a bit. What's left of the day, that is, which isn't a whole lot. Oh shit, like how much do you need? Oh hell. That really sucks. How easy are those to get back on? I know exactly what you mean there. So it's not something that you could actually just put back on yourself then? Never actually looked at the hardware that involves. Oh, that really... I'm sorry, that really just sucks. You wanna... If you wanna... Actually, I don't know if the bot will let you... I'm still trying to get Nightbot to do what I want Nightbot to actually do and not what I want Nightbot not to do. But if you drop a link to your GoFundMe or whatever it is in the Discord right now, I will drop it in chat. Okay, we've got Exploding Head and 2 bow wielders. Sounds like a good start. Yes, the former gifted kid is the gift. The thing is the gift that keeps on giving, really. Okay, move myself out of the Hellfire range. Oh shit, we've got the other side has this. The snails could just eat you. They're very unfortunate to have. Well, they're very unfortunate for the other side to have. They're kind of nice to have on one's own side. Oh, that sucks. Actually, let's move back a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Knowing the social mechanisms that make things suck doesn't actually decrease their sucking. Oh shit. Well, that's game over there. Those fucking snails. Okay, give that a little boop. Oh, yeah, that works. Just, whatever link you want to give, and then I can drop the link without fucking, Nightbot doing anything. Because I think I fixed the link issue there, but I'm not entirely certain. Just in the general channel, I have that open, I'll see that right away, and I can just drop that, and just drop the link over there. Okay. Copy link. Oh wait, let's see. Ah, okay, PayPal. That's the easiest. I'm dropping you a little bit as well. Okay. Only thing for it is, see, if your main character there is like the king in chess, and if they die, then I think it's game over no matter how well you're doing on everything else. Oh, no problem. I'm glad I'm in a position to help out a bit. Things are a little bit delicate for me as well at the moment, but they're less delicate than they've been. Ah, fucking snails. But I'm winning this one at least. The alewife emerges triumphant. I'm right. Okay, we got some new beasts. The bishop-like creature with a bow-wielding fox. Oh, we've got the spear-wielding fox. Mass healing, that could be handy. Okay, where am I exactly? Welcome, welcome. Are you here because of the Master's tragic death? Okay. Wait, did I manage... Shit, did I manage not to have a single bow-wielding character here? That's not good. I pretty much only drink if I'm, like, going out to the pub or something like that, and I haven't gone out to a pub since the fucking pandemic started. And even if I wanted to, the options around here are just so shit. Okay, let's see. Can I manage to do this without a single ranged weapon in my arsenal here? Oh, I got booped. Okay. Can you all hear the Can you all hear the game audio? I had a problem. Hey, Ludlow. I had a problem with that earlier, so I'm just trying to be sure. Oh, pooped again. And that's one sorted. Now let's a bishop counts. Any characters I can boop? Oh, it's a very one-sided fire. The fire is just clearly biased. Anyone I can boop. Feedlock. Or Fakelach. Hey, Haku, how you doing? Hellfire. Fucking Hellfire. Always shows up like this. Oh, what game is it? Hanako. Nice name. Toire no Hanako-san. Interesting. Never heard of that. Oh wait, I need to boop myself into over to safety. Anyone I can heal at this point. Hildegard is a little bit worse for wear. What is Toire no Hanako-san about? Ah, hell. Booped into the flames. Interesting. At least that explains the title, which... I mean, the only other option I can think of is that she, like, lived there or something? Interesting. As good a place to have a wish granted as any, I suppose. Oh, we'll boop Hildegard. Oh, I think I've got a good chance of winning this one at this point. And then we'll move on to the roasting. There we go. Und tschüss. The taste of victory is almost as good as the drinks I brew. I should have seen that coming. Time of penitence is upon me. Next. Take all beasts. Cook Exploder. And actions, mass healing talents. Continue. And quit to menu. Exit. Yes, done for today. Okay.
Burger King.
And so we've got a few options. I've got some new stuff into the rotation here. We've got Libertarian Scott. Capitalism is voluntary. Thought Slime debunked. We've got Thought Slime, Delusional Angry Communist. Show number 40. Vosh is gonna double down on the sexism and the whole thing about how the left is at fault for people liking Andrew Tate. And this one I'm kind of curious about here. This is Caleb Muppet. CNN bullies and cancels teen girl from North Korea. And the reason I'm curious about this is mostly in this case, I mean, obviously he's going to be full of shit one way or another. But how did we get to a point where a teen girl from North Korea who is on fucking CNN is getting apparently cancelled by CNN and defended by Caleb Muppet? Usually the only North Koreans you ever see on CNN are defectors, and usually you'd expect that to be the other way around. I mean, I'm kind of curious about that one, as I mentioned, but open to do others as well. Oh, God. I really fucked up my ankle today. I was walking down a hill, and my foot landed on the ground a little bit wrong. Twisted inward. Yes. I'm pretty sure that would... Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that. I'm very curious about that one. Let me just make sure. Have we got Audioausgabeaufnahme zum Sollniveau? Ja. Sollpegel erreicht. And it's a relatively short one, so why not? He's really changed his camera angles here. Is there better quality than 720? Yeah, very unfun.
But not only is America being menaced by weather balloons from
No fucking introduction. I mean, who needs an introduction, really?
China.
I mean, yeah, fuck the weather balloon. I mean, that whole thing was just ridiculous.
Satanic Chinese weather balloons. But also CNN.com, the website.
CNN.com. Yeah, because he's like somehow managed to just be advancing beyond Web 1.0, so he thinks he needs to tell everyone that it's .com, that the domain
U.S. mainstream media outlet known as CNN has decided to inform us about a great threat to our national security. And just like the horrendous weather balloon,
Is this edited weird? I mean, it seems like he just cut something, but he cut it really badly because we lost the word, the last part of the word horrendous.
This great threat to our national security also comes from Asia.
I have a sticker on my sketchbook, says Phoenix Rising, that says, I don't always roll a joint, but when I do, it's my ankle, and I want that. I heard that the CPI has been reincorporated in Oregon. I hadn't heard that he was living there, and that's a pretty substantial move, especially with all those books that he doesn't read, but likes to have in the background. How did Redbubble not end up being, like, the term for communist YouTube? Well, I don't know. This is a better camera angle. He's almost got the rule of thirds nailed, and he does not have, like, the redness of hellfire, and he doesn't look like he's staring down at you.
But it doesn't come from China. It comes from Korea. And I bet you know which Korea it comes from. Folks, I'm about to
I wonder which Korea does it come from?
show you what the brave, amazing, cutting edge journalists of CNN have exposed as a great threat to America, a great threat to our national security. Are you ready? Brace yourself.
Like, what does he have to eat to sound that constipated? Okay. They eat ice cream and read Harry Potter. I love how they act like eating ice cream is like this rarity. Actually, I mean, one of the big things that's been all over the news recently, and it's not exactly it isn't a new thing there by any means, is how they've just opened another ice cream plant out by the zoo in Pyongyang. I mean, ice cream is not a novelty there. Now, pretty much everything, it's somewhat expensive, and it's difficult to get outside of Pyongyang because Pyongyang has all the best shit. And gets it first, which is an arrangement that isn't exactly uncommon elsewhere. Thinking of Santiago, Buenos Aires, Lima. I mean, the same sort of centralism where the capital gets all the best shit. The whole idea of the capital actually being one of the shittier cities, one of the more boring cities, seems to be a distinctly Anglo thing with Ottawa and Canberra and central DC, which is just fucking soulless bureaucrat land. I mean, but they. Now I understand why he's so pissed off. He's dependent. She reads Harry Potter. She reads the anti-Semitic wizard books by the transphobe. Carnivore is the name of this lipstick, as it happens. No, carnivorous.
That's right. They eat ice cream and read Harry Potter. But these North Korean YouTubers are not what they seem.
Okay, he's that's the fucking movie trailer voiceover voice. That's who it was all along.
It's horrifying. Utterly horrifying. The young woman rifles through
Is North Korea still in COVID lockdown? Somewhat. I mean, the way it's worked is basically ever since the pandemic. It's Mac. I picked it up at a shop in Bath back in went there on a birthday trip when I turned 40, I think. But it's one of my favorites, and it's lasted forever, which shows just how often I use it, I suppose, in recent years. Okay, so the COVID situation there is they have been on sort of high alert since the very start, telling people to wear masks, and things like that. And then when they had their first documented cases earlier this year, actually late last year, now that I think of it, they went into full-on lockdown where they basically shut everything down and compensated for this by having the army go out and bring. I mean, I'm going by state media reports. The army kind of went out and delivered food, and they sort of shut down a lot of the economy for a while. And the other thing, what was it? Oh, to compensate, they introduced a little calisthenics feature on television and increased the broadcast day by 4 hours to, give people something to do, I guess, since they weren't going to be able to do much else for a while. But then they announced a couple of months back that they had managed to beat back the threat of COVID. But I mean, I've been watching this lately just to kind of keep an eye. First of all, they're already talking about, it's not just about SARS-2 anymore. Yeah, they're talking about RSV. They're talking about, the more nasty flu. They're talking about the whole tridemic thing. And they've moved to what is called Kinjang Kankwa Zhongjang Bangyok Chegye, which means like heightened normal alert, where they're still telling people to wear masks. They still have things every day on television saying, here's how you wear them, here's, and if your glasses are being fogged up, you're fucking it up, and also you should really double it up, and, wash your hands and that sort of shit. And telling people to be on alert and be aware of what's going on. So, but I do think that they are back on at least some cross-border traffic, at least like goods traffic and stuff like that. I don't think they are actually back to letting like visitors come in or anything like that. I don't think they're anywhere near that. That's probably years off. But they have opened up just a little bit. But at the same time, they're basically constantly warning people to be on alert. I think Caleb called J.K. Rowling a Marxist at one point. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like, when you look at their COVID, when you look at their, like, COVID PSAs, I did a whole video looking at them a while back. You'll find it on the YouTube channel. Maybe you've already seen it. But it's like there are differences in how I would do it, but the main points that I would make if I were making COVID PSAs are all made. Like, I mean, I particularly like there's this line that our enemy in this fight is, laziness and complacency. And we all have to kind of keep it, we all have to, do this. The message has basically been, this shit is bad, we don't want it, and if we want to go without it, we need to all work together and be on the same page about the precautions that need to be taken. I mean, they do take this shit pretty serious. They do have a history of taking this shit really seriously. Even, like, about 10 years ago or so when the Ebola outbreak happened and that never really got anywhere near them, they canceled all their flights just in case. Just in case it got bad, they wanted to make sure that nothing was going to, that it wasn't going to get there. So they take that stuff extremely seriously, and they're independent observers who also confirm that they do. Yeah, all the stuff the U.S. government hasn't done. I mean, there are a lot of things I don't like about the way the DPRK is run, and it's not the sort of system I'm fighting for, certainly. But occasionally they do some shit that's actually pretty fucking pog. And some of their new residential architecture and their handling of COVID PSAs are two examples of that, I would say.
Fridge full of popsicles, pulling out several to show the camera. This is milk flavored. The picture is so cute, she says in English, pointing to the cartoon packaging with a smile. This is peach flavor. After finally selecting,
is he not going to scroll so we can see the whole thing? Let me see. I'm going to try to find this article. Okay. That's not the story I was trying to find. Where the hell? Where'd the story go? Okay, here we go. I think I may have found it. So, Yumi, 41,000 views. Okay, I'm kind of curious about this. This is because this is sort of the new trend in propaganda that the DPRK produces for abroad. It used to be they would just do like bad English translations of the stuff that they use domestically, which, I mean, went over like a fucking lead balloon. From China. And so recently they've been trying to, it's like the people in the Agitprop department of the Workers' Party of Korea, started looking at like vloggers and fucking Instagram and stuff, and so they've started to do more of this sort of slice of life stuff. Let me see. I'm just looking at this entire. Her YouTube channel, created last June, is one of several social media accounts that have popped up across the internet the past year or two, in which North Korean residents claim to share their everyday lives. I'm actually curious. I pay attention to this stuff.
How to sound more Hello.
I like to pay attention to these. Sometimes there's some interesting stuff on there. But experts say not all is not as it seems in these videos. Telltale signs that the lives displayed are far from the norm. I mean, yes, it's fucking... I mean, it is fucking state propaganda. That's kind of... Yumi's videos look like a well-prepared play. Well, yeah, I mean, they are scripted. The whole thing is scripted. That much you can be kind of certain about. I mean, there's not much goes on television in the DPRK that isn't at least a little bit scripted.
Cream cone.
Or edited afterwards.
Bites into it, declaring, "The biscuit is very delicious." The 4-minute video has racked up 41,000 views on YouTube. But this is no ordinary blog.
Yeah, what's the over-under on him managing to maintain that voice for this entire, 17-minute video?
The woman, who calls herself Yumi, lives in North Korea, perhaps the world's most isolated and secretive nation.
I mean, and the thing is, yeah, I mean, it is pretty fucking secretive. In terms of what foreigners are actually allowed to see when they visit, it's extremely limited. And even, like, foreign residents have a pretty strict range that they're held to. In fact, that probably a big part of why they've managed to do fairly well in COVID is that foreigners are more or less quarantined in normal times. There's very limited contact to, just residents apart from people whose job is to be around foreigners.
Her YouTube channel, created last June, is one of several social media accounts that have popped up across the internet in the past year or two, in which North Korean residents claim to share their everyday lives. But experts say...
I mean, that is a fucking weasel word. When you hear experts say... I mean, either there are going to be actual experts quoted and that by name in the piece, or shut the fuck up.
As it seems in these videos, and the images contain telltale signs that the lives displayed are far from the norm for the impoverished millions.
Like, I mean, right here, what you can see, that is an amusement park that exists in Pyongyang. These are, in fact, all of these DPRK vloggers that you'll find are pretty much all residents in Pyongyang, and mostly what they show is Pyongyang. And that is, I mean, not surprising, because, I mean, for one thing, that's where all the media stuff is, all the major media stuff is. And for another thing, they are very obviously trying to show show the best stuff, and all the best stuff gets to Pyongyang first, and only shows up elsewhere later.
Under the dictatorship of Kim Jong.
Is he just gonna read this thing in a fucking movie trailer voice? Is that gonna be the whole thing?
Oh my God, everyone. Be afraid. Be very, very afraid. The North Koreans are on YouTube. A North Korean teenage girl has started a YouTube channel. It is a great conspiracy against our American way of life.
Well, I mean, probably didn't actually personally start a YouTube channel, because there isn't... Private internet access is not a thing. There is an intranet within the DPRK, and there is internet access, but it's limited to, like, some state enterprises, major research universities, and other places like that. I mean, people aren't just going and opening up any old YouTube channel. So, yes, you can be pretty certain the state is involved in this process at multiple levels, including, it's professionally done. The video quality is good.
She's talking about popsicles and Harry Potter. It's a great diabolical plot to brainwash the minds of Americans via YouTube. Sure, it's been revealed that Twitter is being used by the FBI to rig our elections and get Trump out of office. Sure.
Wait, what? To rig our elections and get Trump? Trump was actually at pretty long odds to stay in office to begin with because he was just really fucking unpopular. It did not take the fucking FBI doing whatever they've done on Twitter, and I'm sure they're up to all sorts of bad things on Twitter. I haven't heard this particular thing, and I would, but the thing is, the only reason it was even close is the Democrats insisted on running against the one person who would give Trump a chance.
Sure, it's been revealed that the Hunter Biden news story was suppressed. Sure, it's been revealed that Facebook is coordinating with the CIA and that our intelligence agencies are manipulating social media to try and control our minds. But that's not what's important.
Well, and the one thing that is worth noting, yes, state propaganda is fucking everywhere. And you can't consume any of the shit uncritically. We're bombarded with all sorts of propaganda. You can't just, take shit on faith that you see on CNN. You also, but that, by the same token, just because something comes from, like, Russia or the DPRK or fucking Saudi Arabia, I don't care, doesn't mean that it's automatically false either. Propaganda virtually always combines elements of bullshit and elements of fact. And I'm guessing this point is going to go way past him. Stealth pro-Trump argument,
North
certainly.
Koreans, several of them, have started YouTube channels. And with these YouTube channels, they are showing a different side of North Korea. And it is important, greatly important, that all Americans think that mainstream media and its portrayal of North Korea as nothing but soldiers goose-stepping and missiles shooting off 20.
Yeah, in this context, it's kind of fun to remember that in his meeting with the French and Russian fascists at the Nazbol conference, Caleb specifically said that what got him into communism was watching soldiers goose-stepping, because he thought that was based.
4 hours a day. That is what Americans must be led to believe. We cannot have another picture of North Korea shown to Americans. This is what CNN is warning us about.
Yeah, and the thing is that CNN has a really shitty record of accurate reporting on the DPRK. US media in general do, because it's a fact-check free zone. They have the perfect excuse not to even try to check their DPRK articles for the most part. So you can get all sorts of wild bullshit, because it's not a place where you can send, just a couple of journos down and make sure a story's accurate or something. So nobody bothers, and anything, any kind of weird shit that somebody says about the DPRK, often sourced through the South Korean intelligence service to the South Korean right-wing press, and then laundered, translated and laundered into, like, the fucking New York Times or whatever, will make it. Which is why you find out all sorts of prominent North Koreans supposedly got executed and then they're alive again. And the only reason that anyone actually seriously claimed they were executed was that they weren't on TV for a while. Just like there's a whole thing, like a couple of years ago, Kim Jong-un wasn't on TV for like 40 days, and they're like, oh, is he dead? No, he just wasn't on fucking television. It's called object permanence. But it's not, which is not something that the media are very good at the best of times, even in situations where they can fact check.
That a teenage girl in North Korea, Yumi, has started a YouTube channel. This is
Again, it's almost certainly not that she personally started a YouTube channel. Yeah, that's just not how internet access works in the DPRK.
Is a source.
It's also wrong when people claim that nobody knows what the internet is in the DPRK, that its existence is censored. That's complete bullshit, too. People know what the internet is, but access to it is very, very strictly controlled.
Of outrage. A national news outlet decided to do a whole news story. CNN.com decided to do a whole YouTube story about Yumi and her YouTube channel and how it's a diabolical plot to brainwash us to think North Korea is not evil. I'm going to show you some of what Yumi has on her YouTube channel. This is some of the diabolical content. Viewer discretion is advised.
The phrase diabolical content, when you know, like, the British understanding of diabolical, which basically just means crap, hearing Caleb Maupin introduce diabolical content hits a little different.
If there are children, cover their eyes. This is dangerous brainwashing you're about to see. Yumi is going to get into your mind and make you not want to blow up the North Koreans. Watch.
How are you doing? First, I say.
Okay, where she is, Rungna Inmin Yuonchi. This is on Rungna Island in Pyongyang. It is a big island in the middle of the Taedong River, and it has this amusement park complex, and then, if I remember correctly, one of their major, like, scientific institutes is also there.
And my heartfelt thanks to every single one of you who has given me love and support. At the moment, my greetings are not up to this point, but you are watching my video right now, and that means a lot to me and encourages me more than anything. Today is TGIF. I came to Inkulinati.
Oh, well, it's okay. Somebody has updated, like, the language learning materials that, I mean, TGIF, because most English learning materials in the DPRK are British, and TGIF is really a US thing. So it's kind of interesting that she uses that term. It kind of suggests that there's been some updating going on there. I mean, there's been all sorts of very interesting, like, updating going on in the North Korean media in general. There's a lot of, like, sort of cultural and just sort of aesthetic shifts that have gone on. And it's actually really interesting stuff, and I keep meaning to do more videos on the subject because I pay attention to this stuff, and I would really rather that pricks like Caleb Maupin not be the people that provide other narratives on the DPRK. Yeah, I mean, like, if you look at Hwasong Street, the Hwasong neighborhood, I think it was, in Pyongyang, it looks like the cities that you see on Earth in Star Trek. I mean, the design just rocks. I don't know about the interiors, you don't get to see a whole lot about that. I mean, and probably it is a little bit, certainly short on mod cons in various ways. Okay. But, including, I mean, very limited electricity access. That's something they're constantly running an energy shortage, and that's a major topic in the state media there.
Park to have some fun. It has water park, planetarium, fun fair, mini course, and tennis.
This is the first time. See, it's fucking spell check on Word always marks it wrong when I use the word dolphinarium, which in my novel that I need to finish polishing and actually just fucking publish, I use quite a bit in one scene. And now the term is attested by none other than a North Korean fucking YouTube channel.
And valuable curtains so on. You may wonder how the Korean people spend their leisure time. A Korean proverb goes, seeing is living. It means seeing for oneself is better than listening to others' voice. Today, I will find out activities people do for recreation. What do you do to relax? Some spend the day playing games or sports. On the other hand, some who are fond of their best, play smartphone games and watch movies in bed without doing anything else.
Yeah, I mean, and that tech does exist. In fact, smartphones are fairly widely available. And when you watch some of these major, like, celebratory fireworks displays you see on TV, you will see North Koreans doing the same pointless shit that everybody who goes to fireworks does with their fucking phones, and takes bad video of the fireworks that they are never going to watch again. But for some reason, everybody just feels the need to document it badly, when they've already got it in front of them, even in the DPRK, where they're not getting this prompting from us. You know, they're not shown that anywhere. There's just something, apparently it is, like, fundamental human nature when dealing with this fucking technology, to document things badly that there's really no point in documenting.
I want to devise thoughts to kill their precious time on hibernation when life might be so much better. Sleep is a passive kind of relaxation, but activity is an actual way to relax.
Yeah, I have to say, I kind of like the passive hibernation. I'm a big fan of the hibernation. Bed is a wonderful place, and life needs to catch up to it. Now, one thing that's worth noting is, this is not just in, like, fucking North Korean YouTube channels for foreign consumption, but there's been a big push in general in the past couple of years to, like, improve leisure time offerings in the DPRK. There's this idea that seems to be quite popular in the Central Committee that, you know, a developed country is a country where people have time off and can actually, like, you know, do interesting things on their time off. And so they seem to be pretty actively, you know, they're encouraging people to make use of leisure time, and they are creating some interesting things in order to do that with them. And sport is really big there. Pretty much everybody is doing something athletic, at least occasionally.
Uh-oh. Did you hear what she just said? Sleeping is passive, but it's better to spend your free time being active. It's better to go outside and exercise. It's better to talk with, like, real people, not just computer screens. It's a cult.
He says this as he's yelling at a computer stream.
She's brainwashing them. Oh my God. Next thing you know, people are going to get together with their friends in a group, and they're going to, like, do stuff in real life, not on a computer, and they're going to be in a group, and that's a cult. It's brainwashing. It's North Korean mind control. Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure that this is the part that everybody in, like, the US propaganda system is worried about. The fact that she said, maybe get out of bed. It's like, what free time does anyone fucking have in this country? God, I mean, his video of himself already sucks. And by streaming this through, I'm guessing, his phone, we're getting the already not great quality. They don't really shoot HD in the DPRK in any of their videos, even their better quality ones, is actually being dropped even lower than the default quality.
Oh my God! Oh my God! And we know this can't be real. No North Korean has ever had fun. I learned on CNN that all North Koreans do is salute dear leader all the time and practice blowing up America with nuclear weapons.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of funny to hear him talking about anything to do with cults, when, I mean, one of the things that the members of the CPI said about him in that piece was that he was obsessed with learning cult manipulation techniques and, like, thoroughly rehearsing in any event where new people were coming, how people needed to applaud enthusiastically every time he entered the room. I mean, I joked that he wanted to be, like, some sort of, like, the next, latter-day Kim Il-sung or something like that. And was actually just a scuffed Bob Avakian. But, I mean, that turned out to be so fucking on the nose.
We don't have any fun in North Korea, so this must be propaganda. Well,
it is propaganda. I mean, that doesn't mean it's not true. It doesn't mean there is no truth to it. Like, this complex exists. You can go on Google Maps and you find Rungna Island is a big island in the middle of the Taedong. Quite easy to see. You can see these complexes actually from a fairly high elevation, because they're quite big. I mean, designed to be visible from above, I would say. And, yeah, I mean, this stuff does exist. Like, the water park also, the Munsu water park also exists.
Fake news. This can't be real. It can't be real because no one ever has fun in North Korea.
God, this is such bad resolution. Like, what's going on here? Are they in like some sort of like full dressed sauna or something, and it's filling up with steam? What's going on? Like, is she gonna explain what this is? And I don't know how much of this is like not in. Oh, I see. Oh, I get it. Now I understand. So what this is there's a camera there. And it is like putting all sorts of like Snapchat type filters on the faces of the people there. Hence why you see these like facial recognition things there. And then doing these filters and putting messages above their names, except that the quality of his video is so shitty you can't read the messages. But I just barely noticed one of them a second ago. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, that's what this is. Okay, now I understand. I don't know what this is, though. I mean, is this like the sword in the stone? I mean, if she pulls that out, does that mean that she is predestined to be the first regional secretary of the Workers' Party for Potonggang neighborhood?
In our life, we easily get tired mentally more than physically. So I think we should do more activities to relieve our mental stress. In my country, I can see many people jogging and doing exercise in the parks and along the riverside in the morning and evening. Also, cinemas, theaters, museums, exhibition halls, and amusement parks.
And again, this is Pyongyang. It is where all the best shit in North Korea is. It is all concentrated there. I mean, that's not to say that there's nothing anywhere else. Like, there are a few cities that also have this stuff, because there's sort of a push to create this both for tourism eventually and just as leisure time activities, like especially for sort of this emerging North Korean bourgeoisie. But I mean, she's in Pyongyang here, and Pyongyang is basically where all the cool shit is. It eventually sort of trickles down to the regions, but for the most part, it's very heavily concentrated there. I mean, like, there was an article about the housing construction, these terraced houses that they built with much and unveiled with much fanfare on television a few months ago. And it said, the idea is they're going to try this shit out in Pyongyang and then sort of maybe use that to, as lessons learned when designing stuff for the other regions.
I jam-packed on holidays.
Don't just show us her, show us what the hell this thing is. Not that we don't see it in this, like, ultra low res, what is this, 5 DPI? That Caleb's got here. What, This must be a 3D... Oh, it's a 3D movie. That's what's going on. This would be so... I mean, like... If he actually could bother with the money that he's siphoned off of his wife and the fucking charging rent to CPI members could bother to get a proper fucking streaming setup so that we can actually see what's going on here, it's mostly just a fucking white screen. I mean, dude, yeah, it's like, I mean, it is such a weird mixture of amateurism and obsessive professional respectability that is his image.
This delphinarium is very popular among children.
Do they have pufferfish there? That's what I want to know, because the dolphins apparently get off their faces by poking those pufferfish.
Rungna Island has a legend that it was carried away by the flood from the upper reaches of Daedong River today.
Yeah, this is Rungna Island. I mean, if you just look for an island that's shaped like a sort of a green bean, with a big bridge over it and some interesting shapes on it, then, like, on the left there, you can see Mayday Stadium, which I think actually may still be the largest stadium in the world. They built it in hopes that they get to share the Olympics with South Korea back in 1988, 89, whatever that was. And that didn't happen, but they still have it, and they still use it.
The covered location. It got its name for it resembles a beautiful robe silk. This is the fun fair. It is the main attraction in the evening.
See, you can see that they haven't entirely learned any, like, shifted over at all with US English, because fun fair is very...
It's teeming with the people.
Okay, that's interesting there, because Christmas is not officially acknowledged in any way, and, I mean, we haven't actually seen what date this was made. They aren't dressed like it's Christmas. I mean, they're definitely, because, you know, when you see footage of the DPRK in winter, the place is fucking cold. It gets freezing. Nobody's running around in short sleeves. So, it's not a Christmas tree, except it is a Christmas tree that is, like, out of season, that they just sort of brought there as a cool thing to pose with. Neat. Like, is he gonna add anything to this, or is he just going to sit there and watch and sort of smirk to himself? I actually love that sort of shit, except I'm absolutely paranoid about stuff falling out of my pockets and purse. That just... Okay. So, it's like, the thing is, you know, if DPRK experts were actually reached for comment about this video, I mean, I know what they would say, because I read actual experts on the subject, in addition to just watching DPRK media and stuff, and they would say, this is actually fairly normal for people who have free time in Pyongyang. These facilities actually exist. They are as depicted. But of course, this is also state propaganda meant to show the country from, from the best side. And she didn't, there's no way she just, like, randomly decided to open up a YouTube channel one day. I think part of the purpose of showing foreign audiences this, in addition to just, like, sort of humanizing the image of people in the DPRK, which hasn't been updated since the 90s. I mean, you still have people who are thinking that people are, like, eating grass to survive. And that went out when the famine ended. And the famine, it's worth noting, is something that they actually talk about on television occasionally, even when it's not something that you would have to bring up, where it isn't a subject that is compelled because you just can't avoid it because of the subject. I mean, and it is discussed as a major national trauma. It isn't something that they sweep under the rug at all, in terms of the existence of it, but of course you couldn't, because, it's within living memory, a huge number of people fucking died of starvation. But, I mean, I think part of it is also to just show that despite the economic blockade, which was designed to completely fuck up the economy, they are somehow managing to actually, build the place up and come up with things, and it's a way of just sort of demonstrating that they're not going to be beaten by that. And also, they probably have realized, after arresting Alex Sigley for espionage, allegedly, for like writing articles that are exactly the same sort of stuff that they're showing these videos, where it's just about daily life and really just a sort of very humanizing portrayal of Pyongyang as a place with interesting architecture and, like, actual people living in it, and interesting restaurants that keep showing up and stuff like that, sort of putting a human face on the place, while at the same time, also being quite critical of how the country's run in general. I mean, he's by no means but they actually, like, kicked him out of the country and arrested him for espionage for publishing these articles. And then, not long after that, they seem to have realized that those articles were actually a really good model for what they really ought to be putting out for foreign audiences. Because what this ultimately does is sort of depict North Korea as a place where normal shit also happens. And I think somebody might have realized that in terms of counteracting the demonization and, counteracting, probably out of all the countries that, if you polled people, the countries that people would be least, opposed to the U.S., invading and flattening and doing all that sort of shit. Of course, they would convince themselves that the U.S. was doing something nice. It would probably be the DPRK, because the image is so comprehensively demonized. And so, showing that it's also a place where, like, there are people just doing normal shit that's familiar to the rest of us was probably a good move. I mean, you do have to look at this under the angle of state propaganda, is my point. You can't just pretend, like, that it's this, teenage girl. I mean, I don't know where he gets that. She hasn't said her age. She could be anywhere, as far as I'm concerned, between, like, 15 and 28. It just randomly opened a YouTube channel to talk in English about, beauty spots in Pyongyang. That's not how that works at all.
I can't take it anymore. I had a great time. I lost track of the time. I have got to go home now. Bye bye.
That was diabolical North Korean propaganda.
No, it's actually fairly well done North Korean propaganda. Like, diabolically filmed with your, like, extreme low-res 1998 fucking webcam. But actually, compared to some of the... I mean, I've seen diabolical North Korean propaganda, because they've got a lot of it. That just absolutely, totally does not know what their audience is when they're dealing with foreign audiences. This is actually pretty quality propaganda.
CNN felt was very important to warn us not to watch. That is, oh my goodness. I mean, isn't it horrifying? Go and subscribe to Olivia.
He's offered absolutely no fucking insight here. But of course, that's not surprising. I mean, he hasn't even pretended to offer insight, which is interesting. Because he doesn't offer any real insight into anything. Because he's just kind of generally full of shit. But here, I mean, all he's doing is using a fucking ridiculous announcer voice. He's got absolutely nothing to add to this. Which doesn't surprise me. He doesn't speak fucking Korean. He doesn't really know anything about the DPRK. So it's probably not a bad thing that he did not decide to add anything except his fucking ridiculous voice. But there you are.
Yumi's channel right now. She is awesome. Olivia, Natasha, Yumi, we are being sarcastic here. This is American humor. We are making fun of how stupid
she's not gonna see this.
Our American government is. We love your YouTube channel. We love your work. We would love to have you on this YouTube channel anytime.
Okay, that would be interesting. I mean, honestly, I would be kind of... Any opportunity, actually, to talk to people from places where it's hard to actually get in touch with people. Where, you know, making contact with people is not a particularly easy thing. That's always something I'm very interested in. Like, I had a pen pal in the Soviet Union back when there was a Soviet Union. And I've often thought, you know, if they did that, I mean, if they had like some sort of fucking DPRK pen pal program where you could just like write letters to somebody there back and forth, I mean, that would be kind of cool just to talk to people. And I'm interested in their literature, and the hardest thing about like researching their literature here is that you can't read the reviews. Nobody reviews it because nobody pays any attention to it, and a lot of it is actually really sort of odd in interesting ways. But it's interesting stuff. And I'd just like to ask people what their favorite books are and shit. You know. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think she's actually going to be seeing any of this. Although, that would be just such an absolute weird fucking collab if she decided to go on his show of all things.
Yeah, you are awesome, Yumi. You are awesome, and I am embarrassed. I am utterly embarrassed.
Out of all the things that he has to be embarrassed about.
This article on CNN.com warning me not to watch your YouTube channel.
Like, why not be embarrassed about the whole thing where you exploited vulnerable people in your organization for sexual favors? Why not be embarrassed about that?
Warning me that your YouTube channel must be propaganda.
Well, it is propaganda. That's, you know that going in. That doesn't mean it's false. That doesn't mean it's 100% false. It means that it's somebody is trying to sell you an angle on something. Now, sometimes people are quite honest about what angle they're selling, and they use facts to do it. Sometimes people aren't honest about any of those things, and they use bullshit to do it. Sometimes, and a lot of the time, propaganda kind of uses a combination of the two. Yeah, I mean, it is propaganda. That doesn't actually, that's not a point you need to argue. It literally is it literally is that thing. That doesn't mean that what she's showing isn't true. I mean, she didn't show anything like that you can't see. I mean, like tourists, if I remember correctly, go to that amusement park sometimes. It's a big thing. I mean, and they're quite proud of it. They like to show it off.
They don't really have amusement parks in North Korea. They don't have enough electricity for that. Oh,
Well, I mean, they do have an electricity shortage, and the reality is, if he paid any attention to DPRK media, he'd know that this isn't something the DPRK denies. In fact, they talk about the importance of increasing output, because of course they've got an electricity shortage. They're dependent on energy sources that are imported, and that means having to either circumvent the economic blockade or play by the rules of the economic blockade. And either of those is extremely hard. So one absolute recurring theme on television there is increasing the output of their hydroelectric stations and shit like that. I mean, so yeah, they do have very limited electricity. Although Pyongyang is a place where where it's less limited than other places, it's got a much better supply of everything. But I mean, he just doesn't know anything about this. It is possible to have a serious electricity deficit and have facilities like this requiring huge amounts of electricity.
Give me a break. Give me a break.
I said a long time ago that Caleb Maupin is John Stossel's fursona. And here he is using John Stossel's tagline. I feel vindicated. I know that Caleb Maupin watches the stream because he came on into chat like a year or so ago and demanded I immediately debate him.
Give me a break. Wow. You know, that was something special. I just saw that on the CNN website, warning us not to watch Olivia's YouTube channel. You know, she says.
Well, that is one weird thing about that name of that channel, because it's Yumi, which is a Korean name in addition to being a Japanese name. Written differently in both cases, with different Chinese characters. But, I mean, then Olivia Natasha as well. I mean, that's kind of a weird combination, and I wonder what the deal is with that.
As her favorite book is Harry Potter. But everyone knows Harry Potter's illegal in North Korea. What do you mean everybody knows? Experts agree. Do experts agree? I don't know.
Oh, well, I mean, you haven't cited anyone saying that it's illegal. I imagine that it would surprise people to hear that it is legal. I mean, although, actually, I mean, it surprises me as well, because it has themes that they don't really like in the DPRK media for the most part. You know, like fucking magic and shit. They're not really all that big into that. But, I mean, and so that does kind of surprise me in that sense. But, I mean, he's not, quoting anyone who says that it is illegal. It's more that, a lot of people would assume that it is.
No, you've been there, you've seen it, you know?
Well, the thing is, when you go there, you don't get to see a whole lot of it. What you see is legit, because it would just be ridiculously hard. I mean, if you were gonna build, a fake city full of fucking actors, it would take as much cost and effort and, resources as it would to just have the city exist as you're showing it to tourists. But, I mean, it isn't like you can just sort of go freely explore around like you can in a lot of places including, say, Vietnam, for example, where you can not only freely explore around, but, go on fucking Instagram while you're doing it or whatever, and it's cool. That isn't an option there. You are shown a fairly limited repertoire, although these tour companies that operate there are always trying to push to expand it and add new offerings and stuff.
Yeah. So not only do we have to listen to Unomi Park blather on about how they have to push the trains, but on top of that, at the same time, we got to be warned, don't watch Yumi. Don't watch Yumi. Well, they say that the best way to get people to think about polar bears is to put up signs everywhere saying, do not think about polar bears. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to say, don't watch Yumi's YouTube channel. Don't watch Yumi's YouTube channel.
This is like the opposite of ASMR. If there's such a thing as negative ASMR, this is it.
Don't go subscribe to it. Don't like the videos. Don't leave comments below.
See, personally, I wouldn't subscribe to it, mostly for the reason that if you, I don't know, I'd be circumspect about it. Because I have a feeling that actually, like, US services are paying attention to who's interacting with channels like that. I mean, I subscribe to some of them because I try to keep an eye on things and I use the content sometimes to make videos about it.
Below saying, thank goodness Caleb told me about your channel because he's a great voice for peace and anti-imperialism in America.
Yes, see, make sure to advertise him.
Don't do it. Don't support Yumi's YouTube.
He is totally just angling for a collab with DPRK Media here.
YouTube channel. We would never want to be supporting North Korean propaganda here. Oh, no, we wouldn't. You know, give me a break. Give me a break. Give me a break. This is a real article from CNN.com. Let me put it on the screen again. It's just, it shocks me. It shocks.
I don't know why. Why would it be shocking? It's not. It's actually a very restrained article. It doesn't make anything up. It just says, like, this exists. It's a YouTube channel that exists, and there are people saying that maybe it doesn't paint the whole picture. This is actually, like, compared to their usual DPRK coverage, it's an improvement.
Shocks me. They ran a whole article on CNN.com to warn us about Yumi and why her YouTube channel is evil North Korean propaganda. Yeah, that's where American media is at. They're upset. They're not upset, CNN, about the Hunter Biden laptop.
Yeah, this is the thing he's thinking. Not like the fucking pandemic. Not, the risk of war. Not, the huge number of people who are getting, like, kicked off Medicaid and shit because of Biden ending the fucking, official COVID emergency, even though the actual COVID emergency continues to exist. No, it's the Biden laptops. I mean, this is like, this is so Tim Pool. I would give him, like, within the next year or so, I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up on fucking Tim Pool the way this is going.
Story being suppressed by Facebook and Twitter. They're upset about the fact that that a teenage girl in North Korea has her own YouTube channel and is using it to...
It's not her own YouTube channel. First of all, there are two names on the thing, and second of all, it's just not how that works.
Not demonize her own country. That is the scandal here. That is the scandal with social media. How dare, Olivia Natasha Yumi be allowed to talk about her homeland in a video. That's,
by the way, Olivia Natasha Yumi. Those are two people's names. Because Yumi and Olivia Natasha, those are all given names. There's not a surname in there.
What they're mad about. And I mean, this just goes to show you how utterly ridiculous and biased American media is. I would love to have Yumi come on this channel. I'd love to have any North Korean
not
come
gonna
on this
happen.
channel. Any North Korean YouTuber, social media person, we will promote you. We will get you out there.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if they want to be the Caleb Mop and Bump.
It is our responsibility to show the other side of the story.
And actually, I think they'd probably rather you didn't, because you don't even know which side of the story to be. It's like, he doesn't even know what the line would be that they would want to put out there. Like, so he's like pretending that you have to deny that there are electricity shortages and shit. He's just so absolutely useless.
So there you go. There you go.
Yeah, he's just gonna repeat himself over and over again. And with that, it is time for me to wrap up. I actually ran a little bit over, but I wanted to finish this thing up. Thank you to everyone who's joined. Thank you to everyone who has contributed to the Alexandra Kalantay crowdfunded translation that I'm doing. I'm currently raising funds for the first chapter, to translate the first chapter, and if you want to contribute to that, you can do it here at the tip link. Thank you to everyone, and I will be back here on Friday at 11:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Thanks to everyone in chat. I look forward to seeing you again.